Dreaming about teaming up with a superhero? Heartbroken about the latest comic death? Do you find your conversations always turning to Marvel? Then welcome Marvelites to your therapy session. Join your hosts as we explore the realms of the Marvel Universe, taking you into new insights, movie reviews, and debates. Here, we won't try to cure any obsessions, but fuel them, because the world is better nerdy. Welcome to your Marvel Therapy Group.
And hello, and welcome to another episode of Marvel Therapy Group. I am still your solo host, Jack Martin, still hijacking the podcast. And I brought back some guests from the other week. We got Justin and Pat joining us once again.
Hey, what up? It's your boy.
That pun did not age well.
That's gonna be it's gonna be my new catchphrase every time I show up. Yo, what up? It's your boy.
I'm not against it. So today, I thought we would do something kind of fun, and we would talk about some of the big creative forces in the MCU. We're going to talk about our favorite directors in the MCU.
All right.
So, I got my list. You guys sort of have some ideas in mind for directors?
I have a list in my head. So, why don't you start us off, host?
Kick us off? Okay, so, I just did my top 5 directors, and number 5, I'm going to give it up to Ryan Coogler, director of Black Panther. See, Ryan Coogler, I feel like he made a movie that meant so much to people and affected so many people. And it's just, you could tell he was a director who understood how important this movie was, especially to the African American community. And I'm glad he just made a movie that had such an impact, especially how he was able to be so creative while still working within like the Marvel hierarchy. The way he used every character in that movie, like literally there was no character that you felt like, oh, he's just there to be there. Like every character had a purpose. Like even M'Baku, the character who you're like, oh, he's not going to be important. He's going to show up for like 5 minutes. He was wicked important. 2 really good villains. You had Killmonger and you had Ulysses Claw, who was actually really good. Andy Serkis was having a good time in that role.
He was having a blast.
And I mean, you got to give it up to the director who scored Marvel their first Oscars. So, yeah, number 5, Ryan Coogler.
He wasn't even their first. He wasn't even their first choice. Like of director. Like I remember, they were trying to. Yeah, they were trying
to get her.
Yeah, and bless her heart, she seems like a lovely person. She's done some good movies. Then she also did A Wrinkle in Time. So
that was a wrinkle in the box office.
It's the classic Brad Bird, who he was their first choice for The Force Awakens, and he was like, no, you guys, I'm not going to do Star Wars. I've got this passion project. It's called Tomorrowland, and it's going to be great. And it was not great.
In defense of A Wrinkle in Time, from what I've heard, for the people who that movie is actually aimed for, they actually connected with it.
Who is that movie actually aimed for?
I don't know, not us apparently.
Not us.
It does have a audience, and there are people who do like it for its good qualities.
No, but Ryan Coogler has actually done all good movies, so I agree with that.
Very good get for the MCU. All right, which one of you wants to go next?
So what I'm going to do is, I guess, since I don't have a written out list, I'm just going to think off the top of my head and say good things about various directors in order. And the first one I'm going to go with is my boy Jon Favreau, who started off the MCU proper. He did Iron Man 1, he did Iron Man 2, and then he's sort of been loosely affiliated executive producing and starring in the rest of them. And I feel like it wasn't until one of my later choices, probably my next one, that the MCU really started to be a stylistic thing. Like, okay, this director came in and brought a certain a voice and a vision to the movie they were doing. For a stretch there, it was just sort of a logistical thing. We got this director who hasn't done very many big movies, but sort of knows how to handle a small intimate cast on a big scale. And Favreau, I feel really understood the sort of not realistic qualities that came with Iron Man 1, but a pseudo realism, if if for what that amounts to. Like the Iron Man suit never looked and felt more real than it did in that first movie, and
Oh yeah.
I know the people really don't like the third act. I kind of do, because I went into Iron Man 1 completely blind. I hadn't seen a single trailer. I hadn't seen anything. I didn't know what was up. So when it turned out that Obadiah Stane was the villain, my mind was blown. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what I was seeing. But back to Favreau, I felt like there was a groundwork sort of laid there that wasn't like baseline, but it gave like something to work with for like other, like even like when you get to like Thor 1, you still see what Favreau put in place there as far as like a handling of characters and the logistics of the universe. Happy Hogan is funny. And I am glad that you can still sort of see Favreau's involvement in this extended franchise right from the start. And he had faith in Downey, and that's what got us here. So yeah, Jon Favreau is my number one. This list is in no order.
All right, Pat.
For my fifth person, I put Joss Whedon.
Oh, he's my number 4, actually.
Oh, okay. Obviously, Age of Ultron was not as good as the original, but the original was really good. Avengers was such a flagship movie in a lot of ways, and I think what he was able to achieve, bringing together all those threads from the first phase of Marvel in a really spectacular way, and a movie that still really holds up. Like the humor, I think, is still really good. A lot of the visuals. That was like 2012, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, yeah. He wrote and directed the whole thing by himself, which is pretty impressive. And I was looking this up, and only one other director has been credited as a sole writer and director, and that was James Gunn. So I think it's impressive for that as well. If you want to go a little bit beyond, directorial duties, he wrote the whole thing by himself. It's pretty impressive.
No, I definitely think he made the MCU what it was. He really set like the template for an MCU movie more than any other director in terms of the humor, the story, the characters. And I think even Age of Ultron, really, I think he sort of helped shape the MCU for the better with Age of Ultron. Because I think Age of Ultron, like Kevin Feige looked at that movie and was like, oh, maybe we're being too hard on the directors. Maybe we need to loosen up and give them more creative control.
Yeah, it was a cautionary tale.
Yeah, so you could almost look at that's how we got Thor Ragnarok. That's how we got Guardians 2. That's how we got Black Panther, of just Marvel realizing we just have to lay off these directors a little bit and let them make what the movie they want to make. So you could even look at Joss Whedon as being responsible for that.
Yeah, because, you really needed that farm scene.
That's one of the good parts of that movie. What's wrong with you?
I don't know. Like, he fought so hard for that, and I don't know if it was worth it.
It was absolutely worth it, and I will tell you why. The good parts, the parts that really hold up of Avengers 1, aren't even the actual battling stuff, but it's the bits where they're all just arguing in the lab. The character interactions are Whedon's strong suit.
Yeah, that's where he shines.
And that's why, like I think he fought for the party scene, the farm scene, and the dream sequences. And that is because that's the moments where those characters are allowed to just kind of breathe, play off of one another, and be informed by what's going on around them. Those are the 3 best and most important parts in that entire film. I don't know if Whedon will be on my list. He might. He probably will be. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. But for that stuff alone, I agree with you guys. But Age of Ultron was fine. I kind of like it.
It's not the worst.
It's not the worst.
It is not the worst, and it sort of reminds me of like annual issues of comics. Like you have like it's the same with Iron Man 2. You have like your storylines proper, which progress and ebb and flow and all that, and then you have an annual, which is just kind of a party. It's a bit of a shame that Ultron had to be used for that, but
what are you gonna do?
It's an imperfect world.
I would be happy to see Ultron come back in another movie.
They could.
I don't
They could,
know.
but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
All right, since we just talked about Joss Whedon, I'll move on to my number 3, which is Taika Waititi.
too.
Hey!
He was probably on mine too. Like, let's get real. I love that man. So yeah, he's probably
All of his movies are so good. Like, What We Do in the Shadows has become one of like my favorite comedies ever. But yeah, I mean, you have to give it up. He brought just a fresh sense of humor to the MCU. He's probably made the like most fun Marvel movie out of them all, and he completely like fixed the character of Thor. So you got to give that up to him.
I think he's the big example in the MCU of a director who worked with an actor to take a look at a character or a facet of a universe and be like, this isn't working, how can we fix it? How can we play to what's strong here and sort of whittle out what is weak here? And and this is kind of, I'm going to defend Thor 1 in a pretty major way in a couple of minutes, but I think Thor 3 is a sort of natural, okay, let's take this character who is working to varying degrees and let's sort of like make him more comfortable by putting him in a decidedly uncomfortable situation for that character. I think Ragnarok is sort of an odyssey of itself, and I really like that movie. I really like that movie for what it is. And I also really like What We Do in the Shadows, and you've seen Hunt for the Wilder People, right?
That's really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Even Boy was nice. Boy was.
I actually haven't seen Boy.
It's good. You'd like it.
I gotta get around to it.
Pat, thoughts on Taika Waititi?
I think what he was able to accomplish with Thor in one movie is, astronomical. It was a soft reboot of a character that, people just weren't really feeling because they weren't letting Chris Hemsworth do his thing and be a comedian, which is what he's best at. And, finally someone had the good sense to say, we're gonna do that. And he did.
And he looks better with the short hair.
Yeah, he does.
Well, then, just final thoughts on Taika Waititi. I'm sorry, did you have something else you wanted to say?
I was just gonna say my number 4. Because Taika's my number 3.
All right, just final thoughts on Taika Waititi. His new movie looks insane. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, is that
Where he's playing where a little boy's imaginary friend is Adolf Hitler, and he's playing Adolf Hitler.
Wait, is there a trailer for it?
No, but just from the pictures and the synopsis and everything, and it's Taika. I'm very excited for that movie.
But when are we gonna get Thor 4? But the everything but the TH is the 4. I'm really looking forward to that.
All right, Pat, you want to shoot out another director?
Yeah, who's your next one, Pat?
My number 4, which I think Taika obviously owes a lot of thanks to, is James Gunn.
Yeah.
People thought that, at least I certainly thought that Guardians was going to be a stupid movie about a talking raccoon and a sentient tree, and I was very wrong, because it turned out to be a smash hit and brought a team from total obscurity into the spotlight, and has effectively launched the career of Chris Pratt, and transformed him from a small-time TV actor to an A-lister. And I wouldn't say he's like, on the same level as someone like
Tom Cruise
or Harrison Ford. He's not there yet, but he's a budding action star. He's got the Jurassic World gig. He's going to be in It 2.
Is he?
Yeah.
Chris Pratt?
Yeah.
Really?
I believe so.
I did not know that. That's cool.
That's a hell of a get. Yeah, he's got like 8 Lego minifigures though. So
Rex Dangervest.
Okay. Another conversation entirely. I love Rex Dangervest. He's incredible. Like Lego Movie 2, Pat.
What's that?
That's have you seen Lego Movie 2 yet?
No, I've not.
Oh.
But yes.
He is incredible in it. But yeah, no, I totally get your point. Gunn was definitely, in all seriousness, Gunn was definitely going to be on my list too. I actually didn't love Guardians 1 the first time I saw it. I've totally come around to it. But Guardians 2 is, I'd say, top tier for how brutally personal of a movie it is. Like that so personal. Like Guardians 1, maybe stylistically, it was, you could tell it was a movie that was very, like that was the one I was talking about earlier, that was a director defined his vision through the movie he created for the universe, as opposed to the other way around. Like it was less, oh, you've done these movies, come do this. James Gunn sort of, beforehand, he was like a comedy guy. He was like a comedy / schlock horror guy. And he sort of like created a universe within the universe of Guardians 1. And then Guardians 2 have it like Guardians of the Galaxy sort of is its own genre of science fiction now, and it's because of what he brought to the table. And I think I think Guardians 2 is the better of the two movies. Mm-hmm. And I think Gunn solidified, like I don't know, regardless of what he goes on to do, I don't know if he'll ever do a better movie, a movie that is more him than Guardians 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, in recent news, a lot of people may not be as big of fans of James Gunn as they used to be.
Yeah.
Which is not an unfair decision to make. At the end of the day, he has to take stock of what he has said or done on the internet. But I mean, I do think that it's still fair to say that he did, for the cosmic side of Marvel what Jon Favreau did for the Earth side of Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys ever follow him a lot? Like, I mean, again, beside the controversy, follow him on social media for how all the behind the scenes stuff he'd show, about,
oh yeah,
like he would post intimately about the screenwriting process, about the production process, stuff with all the actors, stuff about why he chose the songs he did for both movies. It's just like he was a real voice into the filmmaking side of the MCU, which really helped for when people were like, oh, these are too cookie cutter, they're all the same movie. But he sort of showed. He showed a lot about it, and every time a new movie came out, in the MCU, he'd always have his thoughts on it. He was a really cool internet presence. Right up until he wasn't, but no, I think for what he contributed to the MCU, and I mean, obviously he contributed, probably the last we'll see of him for a little while, in this universe. Will be in what he contributed to Infinity War and Endgame for the Guardians themselves. And that's a hell of a note to go out on for how well the Guardians gelled and vibed in at least Infinity War.
Well, I think a lot of the same ways you could look at the MCU movies as being you can totally tell these movies are pre-Whedon's involvement and post-Whedon's involvement. I think James Gunn is sort of the same way. You can really see which movies were pre-James Gunn and which movies were post-Guardians James Gunn. He sort of steered the MCU into a more different, unique way than where it was going before.
A lot.
Just to correct my earlier statement, Chris Pratt is not in the It sequel.
I was gonna say, because that's
what I saw and I guess really latched onto.
We still have Bill Hader though.
You did Bill Hader.
And James McAvoy.
Yeah.
James McAvoy, Bill Skarsgård is obviously returning. Should still be a good movie without Chris Pratt.
Welcome to the It Chapter 2 podcast, everybody.
It's supposed to have the bloodiest scene in all of horror in it. Looking forward to it.
All right, Justin, you want to throw out a director?
I will. So obviously we've gone through a few that I would have chosen so far. I probably would have thrown in Whedon, and I would have thrown in Gunn, and I've yammered on enough about both of them. But now I'm going to throw out an unconventional pick. My boy Kenneth Branagh, director of Thor. Hold up. Okay, up until that point, harken back, if you will, to the fresh year of 2011, where up until that point in the MCU, we had Favreau, who stylistically didn't bring as much, again, beyond the pseudo-realism I was talking about, but he sort of steered the ship forward, and as did whoever directed Incredible Hulk. But
who knows?
Louis Leterrier.
Exactly, Louis Leterrier. That's the guy.
What a guy!
I think he did Clash of the Titans, but and then you get to Thor, which I feel like people forget at the time what a hard sell that was going to be, especially after like Iron Man, because like Iron Man and Hulk were both like relatively grounded films, and then you get to Thor, and you do sort of have to do like proto James Gunn, like, okay, what's this side of the universe? What's it going to look like? Who's going to populate it? And I just really liked the idea of you get this Shakespearean director, and you have the Dutch angles. Leave the Dutch angles out of it. Leave Chris Hemsworth's weird bleached eyebrows out of it. But I just feel...
Please.
Oh.
For the love of Thor.
Oh, you can't rewatch that movie again. Oh, they're so terrible. They're so terrible, and you notice them clear as day. But, no, I just feel like he brought a real sense of drama and decorum to what was like a crazy realm of characters. And the way he talked about it just seemed like such a solid early amalgam of my sensibilities as a creative and, well, Kenneth Branagh's sensibilities as a creative. And he talks a lot about like the Jack Kirby aesthetic and wanting to replicate that like on the big screen. And I'm not going to say that it's the most well realized we ever saw of Asgard. I think even in Thor: The Dark World, you get to see that developed a little bit more. You get to go down on the streets, sort of see what stuff is like. But like I think about scenes like Loki finding out he's a frost giant, and like his confrontation with Thor at the end. I think Hiddleston is the MVP of that entire movie. But you like meeting the frost giants, and even some of the stuff on Earth, like even like with the stupid human town, which I think we'll see again. I think a lot of that is owed to Branagh, and I think the Thor and Loki relationship, which was such a cornerstone, which has become such a cornerstone to the MCU. I think Branagh set a lot of that up and led into a lot of. I think what works so well about Thor now is that Thor 1 and Thor Ragnarok are such a perfect duology of what that character is. You sort of have the larger-than-life Shakespearean-ness, and then you sort of have like the wacky sci-fi space pulp thing, and then you have Thor: The Dark World in there somewhere doing its own thing.
Yeah, I believe you're looking for that the trash can.
Oh, it's not good. No. But it's not great. Yeah, I really appreciate the sensibilities Branagh brought to these characters, and I really like Thor 1, and I feel like people are too mean about it.
No, I'll agree with you. I mean, I like Kenneth Branagh as a person. I like his sensibilities as a creator. I hope Artemis Fowl turns out good.
Well, it probably won't be. But
he seems passionate about it.
He seems very passionate. I really liked him as the voice of the guy on the radio at the beginning of Infinity War saying that, oh my god, all the Asgardians are going to get murdered. And then they did.
And he's always going to be our Gilderoy Lockhart, so we'll give him that.
He is. I actually watched the commentary for Thor, the first Thor. I heard him talk about all the things. I don't know.
They just called it that. Thor the first Thor.
Thor the first Thor, Thor the Dark Thor, Thor the third Thor. And then
Thor 4.
And then Thor, but the 4 is the O and the R. Yeah. No, so Kenneth Branagh is my next pick. Love that guy.
All right, Pat?
After my number 3, my number 2 is Ryan Coogler.
Nice.
Good guy.
Just because I think what he, like the diversity that he brought, I feel like he effectively doubled like the almost like the demographic in a way where it's like, before like all these, like Caucasian people are, like on screen, they're doing their thing. And then just like to build like this whole other world that just sort of really just gives like a whole other demographic of people something to look at and appreciate, and a young audience to, see people that look like them on screen is just so huge. And for them to be trained like all their regalness and all the glory, and to have it be portrayed as this, almost utopian-like society that's so advanced in their technology is just really important. Like the social impact is almost seemingly never ending. And I'm very excited. I think that's a very hotly anticipated sequel. Mm-hmm. And I think that's also something to keep in mind. The same way where Guardians 2 was very hyped up. I think you're seeing the same kind of thing, if you will, as more news comes out post Endgame, Black Panther 2 is going to be a really hot piece of news to talk about.
No, definitely.
I feel like it's the closest. This could be a little hyperbolic, but I'm going to stand by it. I feel like it's the closest we got. Every time like a big, really successful commercial movie comes out, I feel like people are really quick to say, "This is the next Star Wars. This is the Star Wars of this generation." Just as far as it is as an ensemble, as like a piece of blockbuster fare, and like sort of how it functions within cinema. People said it about Guardians about a lot. I think Black Panther, watching that, how it set up its world, how its characters relate to one another within that world, and sort of their struggle, I think that felt to me to be like the most Star Warsy thing we've gotten in a while. Like as far as like,
Yeah, and I think you'll see it inspire movies for years to come.
yeah, I don't really think. I would be curious to see when the next movie comes out that is okay. This owes itself to Black Panther, because I don't think that's happened yet. I mean, as far as diversity is concerned, Captain Marvel is also working with that, but it's in a different way.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think you can argue with the cultural impact that movie had. I'd say out of all of the, what are we at now, 14 Marvel movies that have been released?
It's more than 14.
That's a lot.
It's like I think it's like 20 something.
It might be 21. Ant-Man might have been 20.
Yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, I mean.
It's been 14 directors.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But out of all the movies that have been released, I'd say that one has had the most cultural impact of all of them.
No,
And for
definitely.
that, it is my number 2. I mean, Brian Coogler as a director.
All right, so we talked about everyone on my list. James Gunn was my number 1. The only people we haven't talked about, who I put at number 2, were Anthony and Joe Russo.
Yeah, that's the number 1, baby.
Who was your who'd you say Coogler was your who was your number
It
one?
went Ryan Coogler at 5, Joss Whedon, Taika Waititi, Anthony and Joe Russo, and James Gunn at number 1.
Okay.
But yeah, Anthony and Joe Russo. I mean, we talked a lot about how Whedon was able to balance a whole ensemble of characters in Avengers, and then these two came along in Civil War and were like, this is how it's done. And then they got even more characters in Infinity War, and they're still like, all right, not a problem, we can do this. And yeah, every movie they've gotten has just been amazing. And to think, it's really impressive too that they literally had no experience directing action. They were comedy directors. They had done Arrested Development and Community. Yeah.
The paintball episodes of Community would care to disagree with you, sir.
And I mean, you got to give him credit for taking Captain America and making him like people's basically favorite character and like the heart of the MCU in one movie, which is still arguably like the best MCU movie.
I think you find a lot of agreements with that.
Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
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 Totally.
I think it's still the most acclaimed movie, at least from a fan critic perspective.
And I mean, you just gotta look at all these blockbusters that fans are so divisive on. Like, Star Wars has really never recovered from The Last Jedi. People always find something to complain about. And the stakes could not have been higher for Avengers Infinity War. And they made a movie that's basically universally loved. Like, you won't find any fans who are like, this sucks. Like, you'll find fans that have problems with it, but everybody agrees it was an amazing achievement.
I think the amazing I'm not sure universally loved. I do think it is a major achievement that they got Thanos to work as well as he does. Just as far as how that character is realized on screen, how they've reassessed his motivations, how he functions with all the rest of the characters in the movie. When I first saw that movie, I remember thinking, I really liked it. I really liked how it played out. But I was like, oh, so not everyone's going to be on screen for the same amount of time, which we'd sort of been accustomed to. Like, some characters are only going to be showing up here and there in pockets, but I'm like, oh, it's not really their movie. It's Thanos' movie, and everyone else is interwoven in throughout it. And I do think that's a really bold stance to be taken for a movie like this. I still think, of the Russo brothers movies, I still think Winter Soldier is the best. Because it took the smallest cast and was able to do the most. It was able to do the most for the most of them. I think Civil War does wonders for Tony Stark as a character, and I think that Zemo is the best villain in the MCU.
That's high praise.
Absolutely. Only other one who's even a contender is Vulture in Homecoming. Those are my boys. But just Infinity War. The Russos held such a beast of a movie together, and I feel like also a little credit needs to be shared for Marcus and McFeely, the screenwriters who
absolutely,
who, just so many scenes throughout that movie that aren't even particularly grandiose scenes really shine. Like Thor meeting the Guardians feels like two groups of characters meeting up.
Handled so well.
That's absent of the fact that my favorite scene in the entire movie is when Thor's telling Rocket about all the things he's lost, because he has. And Thor: The Dark World mattered because it just sort of wrenched that knife for the poor guy a bit more. And going back to Taika Waititi, you can see. I guess that's the thing in the Russos. When it really mattered, you could see them pull in. Like they had a round circle, didn't they, of helping keep these characters all together? I think they had Derrick's in there. I think they had Gunn there. I think they had Taika Waititi there, and they all sort of worked to like build from where they came, but also like make this a conducive thing, and it really is. Yeah. And I'm really excited. I do think that Endgame could be an even better movie than Infinity War. And I'm really excited to see. I don't know what they'll do from here, but like if they stop doing movies after Endgame, they left a hell of a legacy behind. And I think people who can follow in their footsteps and pull off something really great from there. Like Infinity War, it makes you care about characters that you might not have even. Like I didn't even love Doctor Strange the movie. Like that's probably among.
I'd say he's the MVP of the whole movie. I mean, excluding Thanos in terms of like Avengers and like, I don't know, it did a lot for Doctor Strange.
Oh, absolutely! I'm very excited for his sequel now.
You see, I'm a little nervous though. Because, and this is unrelated. Doctor Strange, I always think he functions best when he just, like, I wonder, what if he hadn't even had a solo movie? What if the first time we met him was in that weird scene in Ragnarok, and then he's in Infinity War? Because that's what he does. That's what he functions as in the universe. He's sort of like consulting help. And the thing that's great about Infinity War is we get to see him do all the Marvel vs. Capcom powers that we like to see. We don't really need to see him learn all that. I mean, I would be excited to see his sequel as well. I hope they push it a little further. Derrickson is not on my list, bless his heart. I do really like him. I do really like his stuff.
I do think he is coming back, though.
I think that's all but confirmed.
He is coming back, and I'm sure he's really passionate about the character. You know what? I guess now I'm going to sing his praises. I guess he is on my list now. He's really passionate about the character. I feel like he really gets the like cosmic sensibilities that make Doctor Strange work. That first movie, maybe that wasn't even his fault. Maybe he just felt a little grounded by the whole. We sort of have to show like an entry-level Doctor Strange, as opposed to like all the cool shit he gets to do in Infinity War. Maybe the sequel will be different. I would certainly hope so, but the Russos. Yes, the Russos. I really like them. I really like their stuff. I really like the brief shout out to the Arrested Development and Community cameos we have gotten throughout the Russo brothers films. Good on them.
And we're getting more in Endgame.
Yes,
Woo!
Yes we are. Who's it gonna be? Is it gonna?
Ken Jeong.
Oh, it is. Okay, very cool. I mean, only a matter of time. Was really hoping for Alison Brie, but that's okay.
I would be totally okay with Will Arnett popping up in the MCU at some point. However they want to put him in. So that was all the directors for me. Anybody else you guys want to touch upon? Give a shout out to?
As a weird honorable mention, Edgar Wright. For anyone that's not aware, he was supposed to direct the first Ant-Man, but left due to creative differences. They still use his script, and he's my favorite director of all time. And if for some reason they're able to get him back for a different movie, I'd be very into that.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Is there any directors on the top of your head you'd be like, I'd love to see him or her take on an MCU movie?
Okay, real quick. Before we do that,
okay,
I have an honorable mention and I have a dishonorable mention. who I feel like
Okay.
still needs to be mentioned.
Okay.
Honorable mention is John Watts, who I don't know if you guys have seen Cop Car, but it's a sort of cool, low budget. It's sort of a thriller, and Kevin Bacon is let me just to simplify it. You know the talk in the dad talk car scene in Homecoming. That's basically Cop Car. Like that is probably what got him the job. Beyond all the Spider-Man stuff that people like about Homecoming, like how it feels more like the character, how he's funny and all that. He brought a real mindfulness to that character's role in the universe. Sort of functioning as part of an ensemble. You want to talk about diversity? He sort of brought a nice sense of diversity and like super authentic feeling. Homecoming feels like an extremely authentic film with it, like taking place in a school, like taking place with like actual kids. Sort of like the street level superhero stuff, and obviously this iteration of Vulture and his crew, I feel like are owed a lot to Watts. I'm really excited to see him come back for Far From Home. I think Mysterio looks great. Like, regardless of the post-Endgame stuff, I'm happy he's sticking with this. I feel like he brings a good head to Spider-Man. I like seeing this version of the character progress. I will be curious to see how Watts functions with a sort of Spider-Man proper, like once he actually gets to New York City, and once we start getting maybe Daily Bugle stuff and science stuff and other. I hope he sticks with it though. I really like how he's handled it so far. My dishonorable but still kind of honorable mention, I gotta give it to Shane Black.
Say what you will, I really enjoyed Iron Man 3.
I don't know.
I don't even think that the Mandarin twist was a bad thing.
The Mandarin twist is the best thing about that entire movie. I don't even know. Okay, Shane Black made my least favorite movie of last year. I think The Predator was a broken film. Hated it all day. I also saw The Nice Guys last year. Really good. It's a really good movie. Iron Man 3 is somewhere in the middle. I don't know if I like it. I don't even know if I enjoy it very much. But I have to give this man at least some props for doing possibly the strangest movie in the MCU at the strangest time. Keep in mind, this was 2013. This was immediately post-Avengers. And halfway through the movie, you've got Downey running around in a weird hoodie with Christmas ornament bombs and a staple gun, and that's the climax of the film. And okay, Iron Man 3 does have legitimate problems, and it does have good things, but it is so strange and bizarre and such a choice I could have never predicted. Okay, unironically, I think I would have liked to have seen Ant-Man 1 as directed by Shane Black. I feel like that could have been a better movie. And this is coming from someone who likes how Ant-Man and the Wasp turned out. But I just feel like I gotta give Black props for doing a movie. I actually like that version of the Mandarin. I like him before the twist, and I like him after the twist. It's a fine little movie. It's a weird one, but I still gotta give Black a shout out for it. He's my dishonorable mention.
All right, and then either you, director, you'd like to see come into the MCU sometime down the road.
Brad Bird, Fantastic Four.
Boo!
No.
No. Fine, maybe.
I'd watch it.
I like Incredibles. Of course, I'd watch it. God,
I still think Mission Impossible 4 is the best Mission Impossible movie.
have you seen Fallout?
I've seen all the. Yeah, I think I've seen all of them.
Rogue Nation.
I think I saw 2.
Rogue Nation is my favorite because it has a fight scene at an opera, and I really like that. God, directors to come in. I don't even know.
Do you want to Alex? All right, so my picks.
Throw out some of your picks. I'll think of someone.
Well, I mean, the big one, Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Oh, yes.
I'd love to see them do something. I don't know if their relationship with Disney would let them come into the MCU. I kind of hope they will at some point. I know they'd have to get a weird character, and it'd have to be a movie that doesn't sound like it's a good idea. But
Squirrel Girl, maybe?
like Spider-Man.
but then my kind of more out there pick, Michelle McLaren, who I don't know if you know.
Wow.
You were familiar with her, but she's done a lot. She's done The X-Files, she's done Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Westworld, Game of Thrones. She was the original choice for Wonder Woman. I think she's someone who everybody's kind of waiting for her to make her like big debut in the movies, and I'd love to see her do something with Marvel.
I would also, you won't ever see it happen, but I'd love to have James Wan come in. It won't happen.
Aquaman has been too successful. They're locking him down.
Oh yeah, Warner Brothers has Tim chained somewhere in their studio lot. And he's fine with it, because I mean, he's doing really well right now.
Dude,
They've promised him a billion Conjuring movies to make Aquaman 2. Like,
Aquaman's kind of fun. I liked it. I liked it well enough. Okay, I'm still blanking on directors, so this is going to be kind of a gimme. But God, I would genuinely give a limb to see the Noah Hawley Doctor Doom movie.
yeah, I forgot that's a thing.
I would give my firstborn child to see Noah Hawley do a Doctor Doom movie and to see Ben Mendelsohn play him. Yes, I know he's going to be the villain in Captain Marvel. I don't care. He said he loves Doctor Doom. One of my favorite things is about like actors talking like really like into characters who aren't necessarily like, I mean, like Doctor Doom isn't an obscure character, but I love just hearing like Ben Mendelsohn like talk about, I want to really explore Victor Von Doom as like a politician within a small country, as like a sorcerer or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I just wish it would happen. Or honestly, you know what? There you go. Get Noah Hawley for something in the MCU.
100%.
MCU does Fargo. You know what? Then you can reboot Jessica Jones. I was telling Jack the other night that what Jessica Jones needed to be was MCU does Fargo. Like sort of a weird, quirky black comedy.
The movie or the show?
Either or.
Both.
You know what? A movie, so I didn't have to watch 13 hours of it. But no, yeah. Noah Hawley, yes. Lord and Miller, as long as we're doing hypotheticals there, get him for Heroes for Hire.
Oh, that'd be good.
That'd be amazing.
Justin was saying that Heroes for Hire should be Terry Crews and Andy Samberg
Wow.
as Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Maybe not like those actors specifically, but that's kind of the tone that I would want.
Yeah, I can see that.
Especially like a Samberg type as Iron Fist. Like for everyone who's like, oh, Danny Rand is an idiot. Yeah, he is. So use that. That's the point. He's just sort of like this hotshot idiot who has more money than he knows what to do with, and like is living in Luke Cage's basement or whatever.
Right. So before we leave, since I am the solo host of this episode, we're going to do something on the show that I've wanted to do for a while.
Oh.
And my co-hosts have always said maybe, but I have the show today, so I can do what I want.
Oh.
We're gonna play a game, name to be determined. I'm thinking like quick plots. So in this bowl, I have various Marvel movies, some from the MCU, some not.
Oh boy.
So I'm saying, for starters, we're each gonna pick one, and then you have a minute to describe the plot of the movie as fully as you can. Alright, so who would like to go first?
I'll do it.
Alright.
All right.
What do you have? What do you have?
Oh no!
What do you have?
Venom.
Yeah!
There we go.
All right.
Alright, you ready? You ready?
right.
Alright, 1 minute, go.
So you got Eddie Brock, right? You remember him from everyone's favorite movie, Spider-Man 3. Well, he looks really different now. He's still kind of a schlub, but he's not a Topher Grace-style schlub. And he's living with Michelle Williams, who's a super hot girlfriend, and I think a lawyer or something. I don't remember. But she's related to this big conglomerate company that's run by the guy who's the bad guy in Jason Bourne and the worst character in Star Wars Rogue One. And the bad guy's all like, we're gonna use this alien goop and we're gonna push the bounds of human evolution or whatever. And then Eddie Brock is like, oh, he does something to make his girlfriend angry. I can't for the life of me remember what it was. He looks at his computer or something. So Eddie Brock is kicked out of his home, and he's messing about in like a shitty apartment or whatever. And then I'm pretty sure he goes to help a homeless person who was kidnapped off the streets by the bad guy. What, that was a minute?
That was a minute.
Wow. Wow.
You didn't even get to Venom yet.
Well, Venom is the least interesting part of that movie, so... Oh, I guess Venom was more loaded than I thought. Jeez.
All right, Pat, do you want to go or should I go?
Yeah, I'll go for it.
All right. Let me see here.
Pick me a good one.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh!
The first one?
The first Amazing Spider-Man movie.
Okay, so...
All right, you ready? All right, 1 minute, go.
Andrew Garfield does not look like a teenager, and yet he's playing one anyway, and he's a pretty good Spider-Man, but a terrible Peter Parker. And he's traipsing about the city, doing what he does, shooting webs, shooting up one-liners. It's all pretty good. And then we had a pretty forgettable villain. It was a lizard. It was an amputee, and then he got his arm back because of reptiles. And Gwen Stacy's there, and Emma Stone is fantastic. And she's like one of the best parts of the movie, I think. Her dad's there too, and he's a cop, and the cop doesn't like Spider-Man because no one likes Spider-Man except for Spider-Man, I guess. And he still doesn't look like a high schooler by the end of the movie. And why is a 30-year-old man playing a teenager? The end.
With 5 seconds to spare.
Wow. You clearly handled this a lot better than I did, with a worse movie.
All right, so Justin, you want to time me? All right, let me see. What am I getting?
Watch them all be like Sony-related Spider-Man films.
Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah! Oh,
I
good
haven't seen
luck.
Thor in so long.
All right.
Here we go.
All right. 1, 2, go.
Okay, so this takes place after Avengers. Thor's gone back to Asgard for something. I guess like the giants are causing some trouble, so it starts with him like going world to world fighting the giants. Meanwhile, on Earth, Jane Foster is trying to find a way back to Asgard, and this mysterious like portal thing appears, or it's like dark matter or something. And like the dark matter like gets like sucked into her, and she's contaminated. So Thor appears again, and he takes her to Asgard. And then like there's this elf named Malekith, played by the amazing Christopher Eccleston, who is trying to steal the dark matter goo. And so he invades Asgard, kills Thor's mother, so then Thor has to team up with Loki, who they captured again, or they still captured from Avengers. And they go to this world and they fight Malekith. Loki appears to die. Thor and him have this big fight where they go from world to world. Thor eventually wins. He gets back together with Jane Foster. He thinks everything is cool on Asgard, but Loki is disguised as Odin, and that's how the movie ends.
Wow. Also with 5 seconds to spare.
Hey!
I failed.
Well,
I guess I just really resonated with like the first 15 minutes of Venom.
well, Justin, I got some good news for you. You get a chance to redeem yourself.
Oh boy.
But you only have 30 seconds now.
Oh no! Oh, okay.
All right.
All right.
Pick a name.
All
Pick a
right.
name.
I hope it's a good one, or like one I can surmise in like a single sentence. Okay.
What do you got?
I can do
What do
this.
you got?
Guardians Volume 2.
All right, you ready?
All right.
All
yeah.
right, go.
Okay. So it's a couple months after the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. The Guardians are established in the universe as like heroes and saviors or whatever. They piss off a race of gold people who chase them down, but then Kurt Russell saves them. He tries to tell Peter Quill that he can be a god. Peter Quill decides that he's not about that life. Rocket teams up with Yondu. They all team up to fight Kurt Russell. At the end, Yondu dies. Cat Stevens plays. Everyone cries. And that's it.
Almost perfect. Almost perfect, Justin.
Almost perfect.
All right, Pat.
Okay.
All right. What do we got for you? We have Iron Man 3.
Yay!
Alright, here we go.
All right, you ready?
I was born for this.
All right, 30 seconds, go.
Okay, most Avengers, Tony Stark has PTSD. He flies around, it's Christmas time, and his suit crashes, and his relationship crashes, and he finds this annoying little kid. And the Mandarin's not really the Mandarin. It turns out to be Eldred Killian, who's this nerd that Tony Stark's totally snubbed back in like the 90s or something. And he turns out to be the Mandarin, and he dies. Pepper Potts saves the day, and Tony Stark is a little bit happier and gets the shrapnel out of his heart, and his suit is all explode. The end.
5 seconds to spare again, Patrick.
I vote that the name of this game should be When You Put It Like That, It Sounds Pretty Dumb. Because whenever when you put it like that with these movies, they all sound pretty dumb.
You know, that's not bad. That's canon now.
It's a whole
I'm
lot
calling
of
it.
It's a whole lot of goo.
All right.
All right.
Time me again. All right,
Over
what do
here.
I have? I have Iron Man 2.
Hey! I don't even remember what happened.
Oh, yeah, this is gonna be
All
rough.
1, 2, go.
So there's this character named Whiplash who makes a suit where he basically has whips, and him and Tony Stark get into a fight on a racetrack. Tony, meanwhile, like I guess the metal thing in his chest is also killing him. So he has to go through all his father's old like records to find like this cure. He makes a new element, and that saves him. And he goes and has this big fight. And also, I can't remember what the actor's name is, but he's also a bad guy, and he's just kind of there.
5 seconds to spare. And how dare you besmirch Sam Rockwell?
Sam Rockwell, at least
The best part of the movie.
he's my
Literally.
least favorite Marvel villain, and I don't even feel bad about that.
Justin Hammer is fantastic.
Oh, he's incredible. What's wrong with you?
All right, guys, this is it. This is the finals. So one more round, 15 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right. Pick a good one.
Spider-Man 2. Oh boy.
So
Okay.
this is the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, right?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
15 seconds, go.
Peter Parker is trying to balance his life as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, but he doesn't do a very good job at it. Doc Ock becomes a thing. Doc Ock fights him on a train. At the end, he tells Mary Jane how he feels about her, and they fall in love. I absolutely did it.
You killed it.
I absolutely
You killed
did
it.
I don't even care. You want to know why? Because nothing happens in that movie. It is 2.5 hours of Peter Parker going through sad things, and then at the end deciding, well, that happened.
All right, and what is Pat going to get?
What is Pat going to get?
The Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
Did you see
This is
Incredible?
pretty unenthusiastic.
Did you
I've
see
seen it.
Incredible? Okay, because I say if you didn't see it, you can pick another
No,
one.
I've seen it. I actually rewatched it recently, so this should be okay.
All right, 15 seconds on the clock. Go.
Okay, so, Bruce Banner is the Hulk, doesn't want to be, neither does the government, and by the end of it, he saves the girl, kills the other Hulk thing, and goes into obscurity for like a few years. The end.
You know what? There was a couple seconds differential, so you're fine. You did it.
I thought you were just like,
Yeah, I thought you were just gonna sit there and stun
yeah.
silence.
Oh, I
for
thought you were
15
just gonna
seconds.
like delay it for 5 seconds and just blow us all away.
I
with,
thought
like,
that was the
yeah.
gag.
No, this guy called delayed a little bit, but I think I got all the important bits in.
Yeah, well, we'll give it to you. All right, and let's see. Age of Ultron in 15 seconds.
All right, ready for this?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Tony invents a robot that turns out is evil. He tries to destroy a city. The Avengers meet Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, and they all have to go save the city. Quicksilver dies, and people still don't really care about Quicksilver because he was done better in X-Men Days of Future Past.
You did it. Good job. What a game.
All right, and that's what you call it?
When you put it like that, it sounds pretty dumb.
All right. Well, again, guys, thank you so much for being on the show. It was a lot of fun. Glad you guys could make it.
My pleasure.
Pat's pleasure.
And as always, listeners, if you like what you hear, you hate what you hear, you're neutral about what you hear, you want to talk about Marvel, like us on iTunes, send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Follow us on social media. We're Marvel Therapy Group. Until then, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's Marvel Therapy Group, where together we can work through our comic thoughts and learn to live beside them. Views expressed are of the host only and do not reflect Marvel Studios or comics in any way. Hosts are in no way qualified to provide therapy. This is simply the name of the podcast. This has been another Marvel Therapy Group session.